lovely Cancerians, September reading 2025. September is going to be a huge month. It's a massive turning point. And I've just been sitting here and kind of meditating on you, my lovely Cancerians. Do drop me a crab in the comments and say hello. And I've been thinking, what does it mean for Cancerians? This whole, especially we've got a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 7th. We've got a partial new moon solar eclipse in Virgo on the 21st. The Pisces full moon lunar eclipse, particularly in a sister sign, you know, we're water signs, is going to be emotional shedding. Things are going to come up. And I personally think that things are going to come to the surface for Cancerians that then can't be ignored. I'm getting like a feeling of something floating that has been stuck on the bottom of the water for ages. Like, you know, kind of a shopping trolley in a lake, but let's hope it's something better than a shopping trolley. When something bobs up to the surface and you have to actually confront it, you're like, okay. And then the opportunity on the 21st should not be missed, okay? The new moon, but it's an eclipse. There's that energy not only of the kind of new beginnings that you get with new moons or the opportunity to manifest things, but almost like for the next, I'm getting kind of decade or stretched out part of your life. Okay, for a significant portion of your life, you're going to be able to set something in motion. And then the other thing that came to mind, I know I've been doing a lot of thinking about you, Cancerians. Ooh, hey up. Many are called, but few are chosen, came to mind, which I think comes from the Bible. My mum says it a lot. I know, she's not a religious woman, but she still says it a lot. Many are called, but few are chosen. So, all right then, what are you being called for? You know, what's it about for you? And do you want to be chosen? Let me take, I'm using a deck here that I never really use for the monthly readings, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. But I also got quite a strong use that deck feeling. So I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, your intuition is always pretty good, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's even better than it normally is as you come into September. You're gearing up. So the first, it's not a hurdle, but the first thing that comes along significantly is the lunar eclipse in Pisces. Okay, so we're just going to bear that in mind. And I'm going to take a couple of these. That's interesting. These were not cards I would expect you to get. That is. Okay, I'm going to look at the bottom as well. Yes, I love that card. First card you get is the Word Lord. Communication, praise, but then this rather surprising word, dishonesty, comes in. For me, the Word Lord is, it could be somebody that you are involved with. It could be somebody at work. It could be a romantic connection. But it's somebody who, their words mean a lot to you for some reason. And I'm getting a strong sort of, I don't know if it's a persuasive voice or what they say means a lot. That's all I can get at the moment. What they say means a lot, but you also can't just blindly accept what they say. Most Cancerians don't blindly accept things. People mistake Cancerians, you with your collection of shoes that you won't get rid of and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we've got the very cozy image that we have. which is right, of hearth and home and Cancerians and the mother figure and the moon. But Cancerians are no fools. There's quite a lot of cynicism in that crab shell, and I don't mean that in a bad way either. I mean that you are selective, and it saves you from being a Pisces, because we're not. But you are selective. You are monitoring. We've talked about this before. You're reading the room. You're monitoring emotionally the vibration of what's going on. And it just feels like you need to have your radar really, really on for this person or entity or form of communication. You need to be honest with yourself. That's it. The dishonesty might not be theirs. It might be you not being quite clear to yourself if you're seeing red flags in communication, or just something where you need to come back to your own boundaries and say, is this crossing my line or not? It doesn't necessarily have to be bad, you know, like a bad thing coming in. But it does require vigilance in order for you to get the best of it. Okay, I like this. Then we get Diamond Dreamer, material wealth and true prosperity, which is, you know, not something, most Cancerians are not, their primary concern is not usually money, but it does help the world go round. So I think there's something here about paying attention to detail. And also, if you're a Cancerian who is thinking of monetizing something, two things. One, it's a good idea. It's a good time. They're telling us you could be successful here. But two, get the right advice. You know, we can't all be good at everything. Some people are good at marketing. Some people are good at accounting. Some people are good at talking. Some people are good at singing, you know, whatever. So get the right advice when it comes to material wealth and prosperity. But at the same time, there is Dreamer in the title, and we do like that as water signs. So don't give up on your dreams and don't sell yourself short. And I would say as well, don't be persuaded by anybody else that it won't run or it won't fly, because I think it might, actually. I think it might be a really good idea. Let me know in the comments if you're starting your own business or if you're thinking of a side hustle or something. And then we get the cosmos, creativity and vastness. It's a big world out there for you, or it certainly opens up as a big world as we get into at least mid-September. So let's have a look at some of the tarot cards that have come up for you as well. And I will do a love reading underneath these. I'll probably use a different love deck for that. And there will be an extended love reading at the end of the whole reading. So if you're really into what comes up in the love reading, you can check out the extended, and it will be the first link in the description box. Let's look at the majors first. You got the Strength card, and I don't know why, but I'm so pleased that you have this. This is Know Thyself, which is inscribed above the Oracle at Delphi. The strength comes in knowing your strength and your weaknesses, not trying to cure your weaknesses. You, whatever your situation is, you're in a stronger position than you know. And that's always a good thing to have in your back pocket. You have more power, and I feel like there's some kind of challenge to it. Many are called, but few are chosen. You're being called. So this may be that you're called literally, that there is a calling and that you want to step up, and you've been wanting to step up for some time, and maybe a lack of confidence or whatever has held you back, especially if you had parents who, you know, would say to you, don't hope for too much because you will be disappointed. Or, you know, let's say you wanted to be an artist. Nobody ever makes any money from that. You're a water sign, and water signs can monetize things like that, creativity, because people will be interested. People are going to want to connect. You're being called. And I think that, and I'm going to write it down actually, is really important to remember and to have confidence in. If I don't write it down, I won't remember it. In fact, you should write it down. Yep. Okay. Having said that, I feel like there's a challenge. Because the next card that you get with the Strength card, you get it next to the Seven of Wands. And there's always a big old bun fight when you get the Seven of Wands. Big old, you know, barroom brawl, bit of a scrap. Everyone's got the old flamey stick out. Mars in Leo, the Seven of Wands. So you're going to need the courage of your convictions. You're going to have to know what your bottom line is, because your cage is going to get rattled, and you could really come out on top if you really believe and know yourself and know that your bottom line is right for you and true for you, regardless of how it's received out there. The next major, the only other major actually, is the Chariot, which is you. Very pleased to see this. There is a strength in being you. It's a Cancerian card. It's like, woohoo, let's go. And it feels like maybe for the first time you're owning what you want, who you are, and where you're going next. I feel like up until now, you may have been, in inverted commas, behaving or just staying below the radar or staying in your comfort zone. And that's fine. You know, it's quite nice actually. But it probably won't wash once we get into September. You're being called. You need to answer the call. Woof, woof. Yes. Okay. You're kind of special as well. Few are chosen. But you need to also feel you're special. Someone else has spotted that you're special. You need to live up to their expectations. But not because it's their expectations, but because they're yours. Because you know, it's like, what's that film? Cheerleading film with Kirsten Dunst, where she just says, I am the shit, so take a whiff. It's that. It sounds crude, and it is crude. And no Cancerian wants to be an egomaniac or be big-headed or blow their own trumpet. But this is being called. The trumpets are kind of calling you. You could be really lauded here with success. You know, if you want to start something online, or you could get a real big response, a lot of followers, a lot of love. And yeah, I like that for you. We've got the Knight of Swords coming in, which is about communication. Something's going to come in, I feel, around the 15th of September, which is approximately a week before we have the new moon solar eclipse in Virgo, which is very nice, which will help you achieve this. There'll be some information you've either been waiting on or you didn't even know was coming. Could be to do with the word Lord. It's from somebody important to you. Now this could, of course, and we're going to do your love reading in a second, be romantic, but it could also be business, family, inheritance, or just finding something out that really points you in a new direction. It's giving me such an itchy nose, your reading, but I really like that. Four of Wands, a lucky portal. There doesn't need to be a reason. You don't need to reason it out. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. Who cares? When it's luck, I don't question it. There is a portal for you in September for change, to achieve, to get what you want, to be who you want to be, and to break boundaries of who you think you are. Whew. It's turning into like a motivational speech. And then we've got Athene wobbling around with this massive sword, the Ace of Swords, getting downloads. Clear, pa-ching, aha, you know, it's something's going to come to you. If you get any ideas about how to proceed in business or an invention, or I want to do this, for God's sake, take them seriously in September, because many are called, but few are chosen. Let's do some love. Love. Yes. Hang on. Woof. Lover's Path Tarot. Don't mind if we do. What do we need to know about September? So this could be quite spectacular in your love life. And I'm not saying necessarily, you know, you meet the love of your life. I'm saying it's a big deal in your love life. That could even mean ending a relationship. Doesn't always have to mean beginning one. Because whatever it is, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big deal. But let's see. Tell us what we need to know about Cancerians. Love. Chica. Cancerians and love. Wow. Okay. I'll take one more. So we've just got 3 for now. Oh my God. Cripes. Moon. Straight out. I like this for you. I like Cancerians getting the moon because it's like Cancerians getting the Chariot. I'm just going to arrange this so you can see the cards as well. You know, it's you. It's all power to you. Also, the eclipse is going to have a big effect for you. The moon is also quite a subconscious and mysterious card. Those of you dealing with an air sign, a mystery is going to come to the surface about this person. And that may be as well why we had that card. Knight of Swords. The channel message I'm getting is like a cloud bubble and someone piercing it, and you can then see through it properly. You get proper transparency. And I like that. Next card we get is the World. You're coming to the end of a cycle and the beginning of another cycle. If there are people who need to leave your world in this, as in if there are exes you can't get over, or people who you're in a very difficult relationship with, the universe will try and get rid of them. Then we have the Magician. And I very interested in that. See if I can show you the cards. Yes, I can. Fantastic. Okay. The Magician is a bit of a mysterious influence. And it comes with the Three of Pentacles, which is very useful. Sometimes when you get the Magician, because it's number one as well, you get someone who's very standalone-ish. And it can be when you're trying to have a relationship with somebody who is a bit elliptical, they're a bit difficult to understand, they're a bit distant, or they're tantalizing, or they don't show their true face. You know, there's a mask element to it. But I get that this is someone who is unusual. If you're dealing with an air sign, there is something about secrets, and I do feel that they may come out around the time of the 7th. So if you've been waiting to find something out, or knowing that you can feel something under the surface, that will come to the top of the water around that very buoyant Pisces full moon. You know, moon water everywhere, bloated fish, the whole sort of the whole Pisces full moon. You won't need to do much to find that out. It will naturally happen, and it feels like it will just come to you as a message. If you're dealing with a fire sign, I feel like you can work together. And maybe you haven't been able to, could also be a Leo, or you could be on the cusp, because we've got that strength card. But I feel like if it's a fire sign you're dealing with, you can team up better than you did before. And I like that for you. Seven of Wands is back. That's the card that we got up there as well in the general reading. In your love life, no matter what, there's going to be a need. Just trying to make myself smaller so I could fit more cards in. That's better. There's going to be a need for you to put your big boy or girl pants on here, and to have your boundaries strong and secure. It doesn't mean that you have to be all or nothing, or you have to have a great big list of demands of somebody. But this character, no matter what sign they are, could try and push you to a limit, which could be very interesting, because coming out of your comfort zone and standing up for yourself is a big theme for you. But at the same time, you don't want to be, particularly if the attraction is very high, you don't want to be overwhelmed and engulfed by it. You want to retain your identity here. Yes, the Empress, divine feminine. Just because you're not giving it large the whole time, and you're not out there shouting and bawling and whatnot, doesn't mean you don't have a lot of power under your bonnet, okay? The Empress, divine feminine energy, is very in line with Cancerian energy. You believing in yourself, and the strength card up there, is a very powerful tool you have at your disposal, no matter what is going on around you in your love life. And it will serve you well. We've also got the Page of Swords. This is I can feel this as well, because we had the Knight of Swords up here. This is the beginning of a conversation that may be long overdue, and this could happen between the 7th and the 21st, and then the consequences of that could play out after the 3rd week of September. So after we get through the new moon in Virgo. It feels like you can finish what you started then. Yes, with the Ace of Pentacles. You can really build on it once this kind of I want to say once this truth has come out, once these words have been said and this has been admitted, yeah, you're coming up there as the Queen of Cups, but we also have the Knight of Pentacles. So Queen of Cups has a lot of similarities to the Empress, and she's soft and gentle and intuitive, and you are all of those things. The Knight of Pentacles is saying that this is happening in stages. So even if you've had a conversation with somebody before, there's going to be a next level to that conversation. And it's going to level up as we get from the 7th to the 21st. So it may be there are several conversations that you have with somebody, and each one builds on the last one. There's a big element here of being able to build on new knowledge. But also, as the Empress and the Queen of Cups, you don't have to do anything with new knowledge. You just need to let it sink into you and be part of you and part of your lived experience. You don't necessarily, as the Empress or the Queen of Cups, need to immediately react to everything. The Knight of Pentacles is telling you that a situation is quite delicate, quite slow, but also at times will challenge you, and that you need to stand up for yourself and that you need to hold your ground, but you need to do it in the way that Cancerians do it the best, which is using your divine feminine energy. And at times, if somebody is annoying you, or if what they're saying doesn't make your grade, you may go within and just literally not acknowledge what they're doing, or not give it oxygen, but go within, be yourself, feel comfortable in yourself, feel full of love in your heart, as all Cancerians are, have the feeling that your cup is full regardless. And that's very, very, very important. So it feels like a message unfolds for you as you go through the month. And this might also be with the Page of Swords. Again, possibly an air sign, but the Page of Swords represents communication as well. So it may be a communication that starts out very, very small and then kind of grows in layers as you go on. What I would warn against in September is having one great big conversation with somebody all at once, moving too fast with anybody, and reacting too strongly to what's happening in the moment. Reflect and consider at all times, like the Empress. Let your body assimilate the information that you receive. Don't be too swept away by the mystery and chemistry of this person. You need time to let things unfold so you can really see what you're dealing with. And you might be able to really build on something then. And it will be with good foundations and a settled nervous system, rather than, you know, trying to get somewhere quickly with a very overexcited nervous system. Us water signs don't do well, especially physically, when our nervous system is overloaded. So whenever you need to take the time to defrag, to be, literally be in your feminine energy. Apart from anything else, it's very attractive, and it's how Cancerians are attractive, very self-contained, but in a very loving way. You have a lot more power than you know. It just doesn't look like everybody else's power. You're not getting out there with your burning stick, you know. You are softer energy. But there are people out there that really, really appreciate that. And it doesn't mean that you don't have a bit of bite in the background. And believe me, you may be pushed at times in September to use that, to use your pincers. That's what they're there for. In the extended reading, we're going to look at what's going on with the other person. I'm going to look at the Magician particularly. I'm going to look at the dynamic between you. I'm going to look at anything that might be blocking that dynamic, the challenge, what might be a turning point, and guidance and next step moving forward. Whew. So we'll look at how do they feel about you, and we'll see also, I have a feeling you're dealing with someone who's quite unique. So we'll see what they want to happen through the cards as well, intuitively, when we get there. That's the first link in the description box. I will see you on the other side. Namaste.